Blindness. Look at them all. Ducks in a row. This is beautiful, man. This is so beautiful. My eyes! Just stay in cover for a bit and I will blind them all. There you go.
Where did that come from? I can't see a thing.
Hey guys, what is up? This is ViperStealth, and as you saw in the beginning of my video, the little intro there, this build is so much fun. You've got NPCs cursing you out for blinding them and setting them on fire. It's really excellent hidden rage. You've got bosses who just stay blind for absolutely ages. It's a blast to play this build, so make sure you do put this together. But let's not waste any of your time. If you do enjoy this video and you get some value out of it, let me know. Let me know your thoughts, leave a comment and share it with anyone that you think would enjoy trolling the NPCs like I do. So let's get straight into the build. So what we've got at the top is we've got Perfect Perpetuation. It's a rifle where every headshot you do gives 50% extra status effect damage and duration for the next status effect you apply. So this is a really useful weapon. You only need to hit one headshot with this rifle, and once you do, you notice a huge difference with the status effect weapons that you're using, such as these. I use the Fire Chem and I use the Blind Firefly, but we'll go on to that later on. I use the Pestilence as a kind of a heavy support weapon. I realize with a primary rifle it can be quite hit and miss in terms of laying down a lot of effective fire on enemies, so I go for the Pestilence to balance that out. If you are looking for an alternative, if you don't have the Pestilence, I would recommend the Sweet Dreams shotgun. It's nice to be able to one tap enemies who are reds and purples. That's the benefit of the Sandman talent that you can see there. But if you don't have any of these weapons, then feel free to go for a weapon just with perpetuation on it. You don't need to have perfect perpetuation. You go for an LMG with perpetuation on it, and that should work for you. I've also got on my sidearm Spike, and Spike is, well, it's perfect Spike. It's very good. Headshots give 25% skill damage for 8 seconds. So every now and then I might flip over to the pistol, land a headshot, then use the Fire Chem, and it's doing a lot more damage. So getting into the pieces, not too complicated here. What you'll find is you need 3-piece China Light. I've gone for mask, vest and knees here, but it's not essential which pieces you go for. I've also gone for 1-piece Wyvern, and the 1-piece Wyvern is for 10% skill damage, and I've gone for 1-piece Hannah Yu, that's for skill haste. And then the bag is kind of the jewel of the crown. It gives golden gear, 10% status effect. I've got quite a lot of high armor on this, and I've wrapped it full up to status effects. Now I've seen some people re-rolling the core attribute to skill tier. It's not absolutely necessary. I'll cover why in a second, but I've gone for status effect instead to be as maximum, because that's what the build should be spec towards. This bag comes with Perfectly Wicked. So the bag is called Anarchist's Cookbook, and the talent is Perfectly Wicked. So applying a status effect increases total weapon damage by 18% for 27 seconds. Now with this build, you are always applying status effects, so you're getting that buff pretty much constantly. So it's a really nice buff to have. So do look out for this if you haven't got it already. For the vest, the talent, I'm still on the hunt for something decent. I would recommend something like Unbreakable or Skilled. Any one of those talents are absolutely fine. I'm still hunting for one of those. Tamper Proof, it's irrelevant to this build at the moment because I'm not using a Hive turret or remote pulse, but do look out for China Light vest with Skilled or Unbreakable. Very, very useful in this build to keep you going. So let's talk about the actual build in terms of attributes. What you want to spec in towards is status effects primarily, and then skill haste. Okay, and this is going to become very clear when I show you my skills in a second. So just to give you an example of my pieces here, you can see status effect really high here, 9.7, that's what it landed at. So what I did was I spec'd into skill haste on this one. On my vest, status effects as high up as possible. On my holster, again, very fortunate with this roll, got both full. And on my knees, again, status effects, skill haste, gone for them as high as possible. And then gloves, lastly, status effects, skill haste. So you can see that both status effects and skill haste are very high, but if you need to prioritize one over the other, make sure you go for status effects. And the reason why is because you don't want to have really fast skill haste so that you're constantly resetting the skill. You do want to make sure that you're shooting more than you're playing around with the skills. So what I've done is my skill duration is longer rather than my skill haste being shorter. So with the fire chem, I'm doing quite a lot of damage. The burn damage is over 250,000. So each time the enemy takes a tick of damage, it's 250,000, and when it lands for 500,000. So that's a really decent amount of damage that I'm doing there. 14-second cooldown with 8 ammo. So I can use this very generously and set the enemies on fire all the time. It's amazing. And then on the blind of firefly, this is the second talent, the second skill I do recommend. So we've got the chem there, and we've got the blinder firefly. On this, I've got a 22-second cooldown with a 24.5 blind duration. Now, this is a really, really long time, and I've even taken this into PvP, and you can see there the blind duration in PvP being 9.8 seconds. I tested this on a pal. I blinded him. I asked him what he could see, and he said, I can't see anything. And I said, what can you see on your screen? And he said, nothing, dude. It's all white. It's just completely white. So this is a death sentence if you're in PvP and you get blinded for 10 seconds. You know, the other team can have their way with you. So this is particularly nasty in the DZ and conflict, especially when the cooldown is only 22 seconds. So you can use this very generously also. Up at tier 6 there, so we've got 6 max target extra. We've got great speed, really decent blind effectuation, but the real crown of this beautiful build is that the blind duration being almost 25 seconds and the cooldown being just 22 seconds. The grenade isn't so important, but what I've gone for is this just helps with EMPing dogs and other kind of robots that are in missions, and I've gone for the technician specialization. The reason why I've gone for the technician specialization is because on our bag we've got 1 blue, which is armor, and I want to be at skill tier 6. So this way I'm able to get perfectly wicked. I'm able to get extra armor on my build, but I'm still at 6 skill tier. So it's really nice to have this. That's it. I'm not going to add in any more fluff to this. If you have enjoyed it, do let me know. Thank you very much. And let me know in the comments what you think about this. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you very much.
Radio intercepted.
Shit.
I hear gunfire. Report.
Loading area by Broad Street is under attack. It's the division.
Sell the agent. Use the ABC. Do not let them raid the stockpile.
Let's get them, boys. Time to put these fuckers down.
Good.